OpenCode is the free, open-source coding agent everyone's calling a Claude Code alternative, and I mapped out the entire setup workflow, install to first task to pricing, so you don't have to guess your way through it. The surprise buried in the research: the free models inside OpenCode are almost as good as the paid ones. Minimax M2.5 scores 80.2% on SWE Bench verified, within a single point of Claude Opus 4.6's 80.8%. According to official docs, the install is a one-liner. curl fssl https opencode AI install bash. If you'd rather use a package manager, npm works too. But here's the gotcha most people hit. The package is called OpenCode AI, not OpenCode. Run npm install gopencode, and you'll install the wrong thing. Homebrew users get brew install anomaly co tap OpenCode, and there's also a Docker image if you want it fully sandboxed. Windows is where this gets more honest. Official docs recommend WSL for the smoothest experience. Native Windows options exist, but multiple sources flag them as inconsistent. So if you're on Windows, don't fight it. Install WSL first and treat that as step 0. Across every platform tested here, install works exactly as documented, which is a genuinely low bar to clear, but one a lot of dev tools still miss. That's it on macOS and Linux, no dependency chasing. I went through OpenCode's official documentation, 15 sources total, including community install guides and hands-on reviews, to build the exact workflow from a clean machine to a working coding agent. So let's start with the part everyone gets stuck on first. This is where OpenCode actually separates itself. Official docs confirm support for 75+ LLM providers through the AI SDK and models.dev, so you're not locked into one vendor from day one. Adding a cloud provider is a single command. Run to connect. Inside the terminal UI, paste your API key. Done. Want to run a local model instead? OpenCode uses an OpenAI compatible API format under the hood, so you point it at a base URL and it just works. For power users running their own proxy layer, light LLM integration is documented too. Configure a provider with AAI SDK OpenAI compatible and point the base URL at your light LLM endpoint. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Compare that to a tool that locks you into a single model family, and the practical difference is real. If a provider raises prices or degrades quality, you're not rebuilding your whole setup, you're changing one config line. Authentication follows the same watch connect pattern from provider setup, and it stores your key locally in auth.json, so you're not re-entering it every session. There's also a CLI path. OpenCode auth login walks you through it, and OpenCode auth list lets you verify what's actually connected. The catch shows up if you want to use OpenCode Zen, the managed provider option. According to the docs, Zen requires a $20 pay-as-you-go balance upfront, plus a 1.23 error card processing fee, with auto top-up kicking in at $5. If you're testing the waters, connect your own provider key first and save Zen for later. That's a real barrier if you just want to try things out casually before committing money. Getting to a working first task follows a clean 4-step pattern in the docs. cd into your project, run OpenCode, run -init to generate an agents.md file, then ask something small. That agents.md file matters more than it sounds. It's how the agent understands your project's context, so skipping init is the #1 way people get confused output on their first try. Community guidance is consistent here. Don't open with refactor my entire auth system. Start with something small and verifiable, like Explain how the build works, so you can confirm the agent actually understands your codebase before you trust it with anything bigger. For automation, there's a one-shot mode too. OpenCode Run runs non-interactively, which is useful if you're scripting this into a CI pipeline instead of sitting in the terminal. Stick with me, because the last 5 tests are where this decision actually flips. Once the basics work, OpenCode lets you extend it with MCP servers and custom agents, both config-driven. A local MCP server gets a command array in your config. Think npx or Docker commands. A remote one just needs a URL. Custom agents get created with OpenCode Agent Create and listed with OpenCode Agent List. Here's the real watchout, and it's documented, not a guess. MCP servers add to your context window, and something like the GitHub MCP server can eat through your limit fast. If you connect every MCP server you can find, you'll hit context limits before you've written a line of code. The smarter move is enabling them selectively, per project, based on what that specific task actually needs. This is the section that decides whether OpenCode is actually worth your time, and the numbers are better than expected. OpenCode Go costs $10 a month and gets you roughly $60 worth of API usage. Call it a 6x return if you use it seriously. But that headline $10 a month number hides something. The plan comes with usage caps. $12 per 5-hour window, $30 per week, $60 per month. Hit any of those ceilings mid-task, and you're either waiting it out or switching to a price share model on the fly. That's a real limitation for heavy daily users, not a hypothetical. On the free side, don't assume free means weak. Minimax M2.5 scores 80.2% on SWE Bench Verified, essentially matching Claude Opus 4.6's 80.8%. Kimi K2.5 is called out specifically as a standout for front-end work. If you want managed access to frontier models like Claude Opus 5 instead, that's OpenCode Zen, priced at $5 and $25 per $1 million tokens, but remember that requires the $20 upfront balance from Test 3. OpenCode wins install with a one-liner on Mac and Linux, though Windows users need WSL to get the same smooth experience. It wins providers outright with 75+ options through the AI SDK, versus setups that lock you to one vendor. And it wins on value. The 10-a-month Go plan delivers roughly 6 times that in usage, with free models like Minimax M2.5 landing within a point of paid frontier performance on SWE Bench Verified. Here is where the second pick clearly pulls ahead. OpenCode is the pick, for most people wanting a flexible, affordable coding agent. Now, OpenCode is the pick, for most people wanting a flexible, affordable coding agent. If this helped, the next breakdown on the channel goes even deeper.